Nice. I think we're live now. Yeah. So welcome everyone to our new webinar, Optimizing the Customer Journey, Leveraging CRM for Sales Success. And I'm very happy actually that we got some true experts at the table. Yeah. So we have with Susanne, we have like a seasoned sales and marketing leader. With Kara, actually, we have Amazon bestseller author, yeah, and also strategic growth expert. So very thrilled to have you on board. And from the Kremanski team, we have with Evgeni someone, I think, with more than 12 years of experience in building up Salesforce instances. Yeah, so someone that really kind of breathes CRMs. Yeah, that's very cool. And then myself, also joining here as a partner from Kremanski Company. And yeah, I would maybe hand over to you for a quick introduction. So it would be great if every one of you can say a few words to yourself. Yeah, short introduction, and maybe also like on top of your background, share one specific, let's say, call it career highlight. Yeah, what excites you about your current role, and also how does your, let's say, career lead you to kind of really specializing in the whole topic around customer journey, CRMs and stuff. So yeah, maybe Susanne, you want to start?
Yeah, happy to. Jan, thanks for having me. Yeah, my name is Susanne. I'm head of revenue at klarx. I'm heading up the marketing, SDR, account executive, account management teams here at our company. What are we doing? We are basically simplifying the rental market for construction machinery. So that's a very defragmented, decentralized market here in Germany. Normally, our customers have to work with different suppliers to get their machinery. With klarx, it's a centralized solution. So we basically provide every construction machinery customers need, and we deliver to every construction site in Germany. We offer a digital solution, so also the processes are streamlined. And yeah, what excites me about the role, I mean, the last 15 years before joining klarx, I spent with IT, tech, SaaS companies. They're mainly on the marketing demand gen side. Here at klarx, I had the chance to take care of the entire funnel, also take care of the responsibility for the sales side, and that's definitely exciting and a good experience to own the full customer journey end to end, from demand gen, lead gen, until we close a customer and hopefully keep that customer for a long time.
Cool, thanks a lot. Kara, you want to go next?
Yeah. So my name is Kara Smith-Brown. I sit in Atlanta, Georgia. I'm actually from Chicago, so you won't hear a Southern accent. I am an Amazon official author, published author. Super, super excited. So you talk about what are you excited about? I'm really excited that Amazon officially called us a bestseller, which is great. LeadCoverage, I started in my basement in my pajamas, the 2 kids under 2. We are now almost 10 million top line with 45 people on 3 continents. We are hyper specific to supply chain. So sort of like Susanne, I am very much in sort of a not sexy space. But what I love about my role is that I get to take the best of what's coming out of MarTech, EdTech, FinTech, all things SaaS, and I get to bring them to a $2 trillion market that is generally a little behind, right? So we're talking about folks that don't have a CRM, like maybe they used HubSpot a couple of years ago, but they stopped using it because it didn't work, all the way up to, owned by private equity, $3 or $4 billion with really sexy tech stacks. So I get to see this really cool kind of difference in the space across all of these. I really like a guy named Mornay Smith, and he said, my laboratory is bigger than yours. So I love having this laboratory of all of these different supply chain companies. They're all sort of doing the same thing in the same space. We are the physical movement of goods, the tech that moves the goods, or the money that moves the goods. And so we touch everything in this space. They're all B2B, so it's all applicable for anyone in the B2B space, obviously. And we are consultants. So we are standing up CRMs, we're standing up sales processes, and we built our own methodology. It's a 9-step process that we literally put into a book. So I'm really grateful to be here today. I'm usually on podcasts with a bunch of supply chain people. So it's really cool to be on a webinar with folks who are like really into what I'm into, which is sales and marketing operations versus trucks, planes, and boats. But I can talk about both. So thanks for having me.
Good. Thanks a lot, Kara. I actually used to build up also like a startup in the logistics sector. Yeah. So I also know the space you're in, and it's quite interesting, I would say. Yeah.
It's good. I like the range. It's a huge range, which is really fun.
Yeah, definitely. Good. Thanks. Evgeni, maybe you also.
Yeah, sure. Thanks, Jan. So I'm Evgeni. I've been with Kremanski for more than 3 years now. I've been doing CRM, but mainly Salesforce stuff for the past 10, 11, 12. Thanks, Jan, for reminding me that I'm getting older, that it's already like 12 years that I'm doing this. So today we're going to speak a little bit more about CRMs, but to be quite frank, I'm really biased. So when I say CRM, I basically mean Salesforce because it's like the one to rule them all. What excites me about my current position is ever since I joined Kremanski, I've maybe seen more than 40, 50 different businesses, worked on a lot of projects, and saw a lot of different customer journeys, some good, some great, others not so much. And what really excites me and what is really cool, I find from my experience, is that not only I see the processes that the clients and the different companies want to implement, but also it allows me to be very creative with how are we going to implement it, right? Because you always start with good processes, but in the world of CRM, you can do pretty much whatever you want when it comes to functionality and ability to put your vision into reality. And there are two ways. Like if you want to go south, you can travel all the way north and reach south, or you can go directly south. So I've seen a lot of interesting integrations and implementations in Salesforce, and I also try to build good ones, but it's not always working out the way that I want to. But it's very, very cool to be able to touch and work with a lot of gifted individuals and really nice ideas for businesses, and trying to help them along their journey into implementing it into a scalable solution within their CRMs. So I think that this is what excites me most about my current position in Kremanski. Over to you, Jan.
Cool. Thanks a lot, Evgeni. There may be just like a couple of words to myself. I'm Jan. I'm partner at Kremanski & Company. Been here now since 5.5 years, and my focus is actually let's say the intersection between the business world and the CRM world. So I'm not like an expert like Evgeni, who would know how to best implement everything in the system. But I'm understanding the business world, and on the other hand, I also do have a sound understanding of the world. So I'm mainly helping my clients to actually develop good customer journeys and kind of transform them into kind of the CRM world. And before my time at Kremanski & Company, I was also quite active in the startup world, I would say. So I built up different startups. I always love to join very, very early, right, when there's still a lot of building to be done. So kind of the first employee or the second employee, that was always like something that I really liked, and then kind of build up the company. And in that phase, I actually built up teams in mostly like sales, a bit of marketing, but also biz dev, and nowadays you would say revenue operations. And there was also the time where I got in touch with like tons of CRMs. So I worked, managed, and implemented kind of Pipedrive, Close.io, HubSpot, Salesforce, like all of the let's say bigger tools also. And there was also the time where I got really excited about this. I'm excited about like, hey, how do you actually not only use technology to leverage your people, right, and your process, but also how do you actually define a good process, right, and how do you use the technology to actually help you with that processes. So that was kind of the point in time where I also like saw this with my own eyes, and then I decided to join Kremanski and help our clients here. Yeah, that's from my side.
Nice. So I want to start by asking all of our speakers today, what was the one thing that maybe shocked you not, but surprised you in any of your implementations of customer journeys in CRMs that you have used? What is like one feature or maybe functionality that you underestimated or overestimated and it surprised you either positively or negatively? Do you have like an example that you can share of one of those? Maybe Susanne, you can start first.
Yeah, it's probably a very simple example. And I'd been, prior to klarx, I only worked with Salesforce and had been a big Salesforce fan. And I was really skeptical with HubSpot here at klarx, and initially thought, oh, HubSpot, and let's see if this is working out. And at the end, it worked out very, very nicely. And for example, a very simple feature that is supporting our sales approach are the playbooks in HubSpot, where we really do a deep questionnaire in different phases of the funnel to analyze the deals, to improve the quality along the funnel. So we are really happy with HubSpot. Initially, I had been really skeptical, but also with the help of Kremanski, we implemented a really, really smooth customer journey, and with a simple feature like the playbooks, it really helps us to get quality into the pipeline.
Nice.
As a HubSpot diamond vendor, I think we're diamond. We might be I'm not really sure, but we're up at the top, right? I'm glad to hear that your experience switching from Salesforce to HubSpot was successful. Mine was too, a long, long time ago. So when I started my company, I couldn't afford Salesforce and I couldn't afford Salesforce developers because they're so expensive. And so I picked HubSpot a long, long time ago, and I'm really glad that we did. One of my favorite tools inside of HubSpot is lead scoring. And I think the tool continues to get better, right? I really appreciate that HubSpot and Salesforce too are doing, feature-led growth, like they're constantly iterating on the product, or product-led growth, I guess it is. And I think one of the things we talk about a lot with our clients is that your lead score is not a set it and forget it. So we talk about your lead score has a half-life. So what is the half-life of your lead score? If you're a super fast velocity company, some of my clients that are trucking companies, right? These are fast velocity, fast moving deals. Then your half-life of your lead score is pretty short. If you are a larger enterprise company and you're going after bigger deals and they take longer to close. So I think there's a direct correlation between velocity and the half-life of your lead score. And so when we do sort of standard check-ins and standard checkups on the tools that we've built or on the systems that we've built, lead scoring is one of those pieces that we want to keep an eye on. I think the tool itself is really sexy. I love the combination of the demographic and the behavioral score. And when you add intent data into that, things get super sexy, right? So when you're pulling in 6 Sense or demand-based data, you can really get a good understanding of exactly who these prospects are before anyone even reaches out. But my favorite tool, I think, is lead scoring, although it does take a little TLC. You have to make sure that you're always sort of touching it and making sure that it's correct. But if you can get it right, it can have a huge impact. I think one of the things we talk about that we wrote in the book is that disqualification in the funnel is just as important as qualification. And we talk about not selling into opportunity cost, right? So if you are selling really hard someone who cannot be a customer or should not be a customer, all of that time is just opportunity cost. And so we use the lead scoring function to make sure that we don't sell into opportunity cost as much as possible.
Yeah, that's a very nice example, actually. And I think like lead scoring, as you say, it's quite a powerful tool, right? But you need to know how to set it up, actually. You need to know how to build a score, actually, that makes sense, right? Because what I also saw is like customers that kind of had a lead score, but the kind of lead score was a bit random, yeah? So there was like leads with a score of 100, they were kind of lost, yeah? So didn't really fit the customer profile. So I think exactly what you're saying is very true, that it's a powerful tool, but you also need to know how to kind of calibrate it, right? You need to be on top of it and actually kind of build a model with time that makes sense, and then it can really support you. Yeah, cool. Yeah, maybe then from my experience also, that I would also like actually pick a quite simple example, yeah, because yeah, these are the ones that most probably kind of surprises you. But at 99 Shares back then, we also met Michael, the founder of Kremanski. We built up a B2B organization, and then at some point we made 2 million revenue, and we said like, look, let's move to Salesforce. And at that point in time, we still did kind of this classic combination of writing offers in Word, right, and then exporting them to PDF and then send it to the client. And then at some point we said, okay, this is kind of annoying for our salespeople, so let's plug in. I think PandaDoc was it at that point in time. Yeah, so like kind of a tool that creates the offers automatically and sends it to the client. And what we actually wanted to achieve is that our people spend less time, right, in creating these offers, right? Because like creating one offer was like an hour or so. And we were able to actually also reduce the time spent by our salespeople. But what I found very interesting is that we also achieved like kind of better conversion rates afterwards, right? And especially like a decline in the sales cycle. So we closed kind of the opportunities faster. And it was like from, I think it was on average like 18 days to 7 days. Yeah, so it was there was like really like a big impact, and that's also where I thought like, okay, that's kind of fascinating, right? You're just like tweaking a bit here and there, and you have like very, very good results. Yeah, so this would be my my example here. Yeah. Yeah, cool. Should we then maybe just jump to the first part?
Yeah, let's do that.
Cool. So seizing sales opportunities along the customer journey is kind of the first topic that we wanted to discuss. And maybe to start with just like a few initial kind of thoughts from my side to also kind of fuel the discussion here. So I think that first of all, kind of seizing sales opportunities along the customer journey, that's kind of the main use case of a CRM, right? That's kind of the main benefit. That's why you want to have like a CRM system. And I think what's very important is to highlight actually, from my perspective and experience, how important it is to actually have also a well-defined and very, very well thought through customer journey in place before you even deciding on your CRM system. Yeah, so that's something that I see quite often. Yeah, that companies don't kind of take enough time or attention to it to really define the processes that need to be followed very, very well upfront also. Yeah, because this then what happens is actually that you start implementing something that's not like kind of that doesn't fit 100%, right? And then it's also not the help and support to your people that they would need, right? And then it's also not, and then your people are not able to actually perform like they should be. Yeah. So this is something that I see quite often. Yeah. So that companies are not taking enough time even before deciding on the CRM system they want to go to. Yeah. Which then also includes that I see many companies where the CRM system actually dictates the processes. Yeah, because the CRM system, of course, tells you what you can do and what you cannot do. Yeah, but it needs to be the other way around. Even though if you're not using all the capabilities in the beginning, right? But you understand, hey, I have the system that I can scale into. And I think that's like one very important factor from my experience. And I also think that even then, if you have the customer journey, right, you have a well-defined customer journey. I think then what is also very important is the whole topic of adoption of the people, of course, right? And what I can see there is that many companies, when implementing a CRM system or setting it up, they're not thinking user-centric enough, yeah, which then is kind of, or that the result is then actually a system which technically maybe perfectly kind of represents your customer journey, but it's very hard for your people to use actually the system, yeah, to use the system and to adopt to the system. And then you also don't have the results that you would need to, or you would expect to from a CRM, right? And then it's also not the support that you're actually buying, right? So yeah, I think that's two, from my perspective, very important points, and I would also love to kind of understand from your perspective how you see it. Yeah, if you would also agree here, or if you would kind of disagree, and what your experiences around that would be. So maybe, yeah, Susanne, maybe you want to give your opinion on that.
Yeah, no, I absolutely would agree here, Jan. I mean, as we mapped out the customer journey, we also started from scratch and on paper. As I joined klarx, that was a phase where we moved away from a transactional business model, where we basically didn't have a customer journey. So the rental request came in, we processed it, done. And we decided, we want to follow account-based marketing approach. So we want to go after the right companies. We adopted the bow tie model, and then the question was, okay, how does the customer journey look like, or how can the customer journey look like? And especially in our case, it was a bit more complex. So we're not just selling software; it's a hybrid business model. So there's also a lot of manual work, and not just the software piece. And drafting the customer journey on a paper or in a Miro map was really helpful to get an idea. Okay, what are the steps that are necessary? What are the touch points? What kind of experience we need in which phase of the journey? So that was a very interesting but absolutely crucial process. I think as with the first draft, we probably hit it 80% the final customer journey, but that was the status we implemented in HubSpot, and for sure we got some learnings. We adopted it, so we shifted some stages, but I absolutely would agree to have a clear understanding how should the customer journey look like, and maybe not let it dictate from the CRM. So bring it on paper, on Miro, draft it, and then implement it is the way to go. But for us, it was also a huge lifting to bring the people up to speed. So next to the new processes, we also had a lot of new hires in the team. So they were ramping on klarx. They were ramping in the industry on our hybrid business model. Then also we had to ensure that they are ramping in HubSpot, that they are following the processes, that we see the hygiene, etc. So therefore also the playbooks on HubSpot on deal level had been really important, where we guided them through kind of questionnaire what needs to be done in each phase of the funnel. For us, it was also a huge effort to basically bake the customer journey from scratch, to think through the processes, ensure a smooth handover between account executives, key account manager. Our operations team is involved quite early, and to learn what is working in the SaaS industry and in pure software sales, and adopt it for our hybrid business model. But I absolutely would agree what you said, Jan, is really important.
From which CRM system did you guys migrate to HubSpot? So
we had HubSpot, but it was a different go-to-market approach we had in the past. Okay. So it's pure transactional. So we basically went crazy on Google, on search engine marketing. When someone was looking for an excavator in Munich, crane in Berlin, it was very likely that they ended on our website. We took care of this single transaction, but we didn't take care of the customer. And now we have a target account list where we say, okay, that would be the right customer for us, and we follow the bow tie model, where we basically try to reach out to those companies, schedule a call, and then start from the discovery call. Want to sign a contract with those companies, get a commitment of a certain rental volume, 200K, 300K for the next couple of months. Therefore had to invent or come up with a new go-to-market, new customer strategy, and implement it also in the CRM.
Nice. And now that you kind of implemented everything in HubSpot, or I understood also that you are going kind of a phased approach, right, where you're adding functionality over time. How would you say, or yeah, how does the CRM help you in like seizing these sales opportunities, right? What would you say are the main factors, the main points also for your people?
Yeah, I mean, step by step, getting the transparency and getting clarity on the relevant KPIs. As a startup, we are on the way to get profitable. So we also don't want to burn a lot of money to generate leads. We need to ensure there's a certain conversion rate, there's a certain efficiency in the funnel. And over the last couple of weeks and months, we got more and more clarity. Okay, how many disco calls do we need to source? What's the conversion rate into opportunities? How long is the sales cycle? Get clarity on the important KPIs, improve the reporting, see what is working, what is not working, and also have for our AEs and for the comms a tool that is working and that is helping in their daily business and the tasks and the work they have to do, so that the CRM is not a burden and I need to fill something in there. So I think they're also adopting it more. Okay, it helps me. I have everything what I need. Have my dashboards to also get clarity on my sales funnel, to get clarity on the numbers. And for us, it was a huge step forward to get clarity on the relevant KPIs and to build a forecastable business model. I mean, in the past, we had transactional business model and we could scale it with putting more money on Google, but there you also hit a certain ceiling. And right now we're in a good phase to say, we know how many AEs we need in order to onboard a certain number of new customers per month. We know how many key account manager we need in order to prevent churn. So it's more and more the clarity. Okay, what are the important pillars, the important KPIs, and without the CRM and the reporting, that wouldn't be possible.
Yeah, nice. So very, very data-driven approach there, yeah. And how does how do your people actually use data also in their like day-to-day opportunity hunting, so to say, or like going through the customer journey? Because from the talks that we had, I also understand that you're also using it for kind of your communication aspects, right? Understand like, hey, where is this lead coming from? Maybe you can give a few insights there. I think this is also very interesting.
So in HubSpot, we work with 3 different pipelines for our go-to-market approach. So there's a qualification pipeline where basically the inbound leads are ending up, but also the accounts that we've got on the target account list. So the AEs, but also marketing are working on the quali pipeline. As soon as the disco call is scheduled, we're moving a deal into the next pipeline where the AEs are working in. And I mean, in every phase, we're definitely trying to get more data for an account, for a lead, for a company, to apply the SPICE qualification framework. So that's also very important for us. Okay, we are not, we need a certain quality in the pipeline, and we also want to build out as many standards as possible to know what is working, what is not working. So the hygiene along the different pipelines, along the different sales funnels is really crucial. I mean, we have some inbound leads. These are basically the companies that are hitting our website and putting in a rental request, but we don't spend a lot on marketing channels at the moment. So we are, I would say, setting 95% on a pure outbound approach. So we work with an SDR agency, so they go after our target accounts. Try to set up a first meeting, a discovery call. From there, the AE takes over. But there's not really a lot of data enrichment happening, lead scoring happening. It's a very, very lean approach. We know what are the important customers who do we want to bring on board. So the lead scoring, as Kara described it at the beginning, I know it from the past, from other companies. In our case, it's too small, too focused. Yeah, and we are not yet there to score the leads, to make it more sophisticated. It's a pure outbound-driven approach that works quite nicely. And as you said, Jan, we are really data-driven to get more and more efficient along the funnel, to decrease sales cycles, to improve the average contract value. We are really focused on the alignment between the different departments, AEs and CAMs. But there's not a lot of third-party data enrichment happening. Lead scoring isn't happening. So I would say it's a very, very basic approach, but it's working fine for us at the moment. So that's a good thing.
Yeah, perfect. Cool. Thanks a lot for the insights. Maybe Kara, I think you also saw a lot of CRM systems. So would also love to hear your thoughts around this whole topic. And what kind of maybe CRM system setups you saw, or like what would you say is crucial for like a very efficient setup, right?
So I'm going to say something controversial. I hope that's okay. I really hate the word customer journey. Mm-hmm. I think it gives the wrong impression. Mm-hmm. And we talk a lot at LeadCoverage about your future customer does not wake up in the morning thinking, oh, great, now I'm klarx's SQL. Like, I can't wait for the different volume of outreach I'm going to get now that I'm in the funnel as an SQL. Like, no one wakes up in the morning hoping to be someone else's MQL or SQL or SAL or any sort of nomenclature that you apply to your future customers, right? And so the idea that we are myopic in our perspective of what our future customers are doing when they enter our funnel, I feel like is the wrong way to approach this, right? And as we've gotten deeper and deeper into intent data and spending a lot of time inside of 6 Sense and Enrich and Demand Base, and these are our new favorite tools, they are shifting our perspective of what you all would call a customer journey is. And what we're finding is, like yesterday, I was talking to someone and they said, they're gonna choose someone for this, right? So like for klarx, for your business, they're gonna pick a crane company. Like, they can't finish the project without a bulldozer, right? Like, they're gonna pick somebody. How do we help them pick us? And so instead of it being about us, the company, and them applying their criteria, our criteria to them, how do we fit our process to their buying process? And it's been really eye-opening for us as we look really aggressively over the last 18 months at the top of the funnel. And what are people looking for? How are they engaging in the top of the funnel? What does it look like? And it's very different in Europe and the UK versus the United States, because we can see so much more data in the US. So we kind of have this unfair advantage over here just because of the wild, wild west nature of data in the US. But one of my favorite tools, and it connects to the CRM directly, is 6 Sense. And why I love 6 Sense so much is because we can see Gartner-specific downloads to our ideal customer profile list. And then we can apply those searches and those intent signals to what y'all would call the customer journey. And so I think if you take your sort of my approach for my business and you put it on your prospect, it's not linear, right? Like your system may be linear, but their buying process is anything but linear. And if there's anything that we've seen that we've been able to prove is that we don't know where in their buying cycle they are finding us and choosing us. And what we also know, because Gartner tells us, is that your new buying committee, specifically at enterprise, is anywhere from 10 to 16 human beings. There are so many humans involved in the buying process. It would be almost impossible for you to identify all 10 to 16 of those individuals and give them all their own specific customer journey, which theoretically you would have to do, right? And so that doesn't seem relevant to us. So what we really focus on is how do we apply what we are sharing, our good news. We share our good news. More specifically is educational good news, right? At each phase of the funnel, and deciding where is that prospect in their buying cycle. Then we can apply sort of our, funnel wherever they are in our funnel, but really, really keeping in mind that it is about them and their buying cycle, not about us. And if we do that, if we keep their buying cycle in mind, we see our conversion rates go up, we see our velocity go down. And while I would love to take credit for building the best customer journey inside of our HubSpot to make that happen, 9 times out of 10, it has nothing to do with my tech. It has nothing to do with the way that I built my system and everything to do with their buying process, macroeconomics. I totally agree that the switch in business process from transactional to enterprise will make an enormous shift, right? And so it's more than just how do I set up this piece of technology? And it makes sense because my boss wants to see math, right? My boss wants to see analytics that we're doing a good job. So it makes a lot of sense that we set it up this way. But we spend a lot of time with our clients walking them through, hey, it's not about you and your CRM setup to make your life easier. It's about how do you get your prospect to become your next customer and not someone else's next customer. Sorry if I blew it up.
No, very, very interesting. No, I think it's a great thought, definitely. Definitely, yeah. Thanks for that. Maybe because we are also only having around 20 minutes left, maybe Evgeni, you also give a bit of input here from your side, how maybe from someone that really kind of technically also implemented CRM systems for the past 12
yeah, absolutely. I'll try to keep it short. So I really like what you mentioned at the beginning, that whatever we decide the process would be, it would be the starting point, right? Are you going to go with a customer journey? Are you going to go with what Kara just proposed? It is the fundamental, and I see it as a pyramid. So you have at one part, you have the processes that we're going to implement. Then you're going to have, okay, what is going to be the tool that we're going to implement it? So always your processes should inform the tool that you're going to be using. Some tools obviously have advantage over others, but for different use cases. So if you are budget constrained or you have quite a straightforward processes that you want to implement, a tool like HubSpot that works better than Salesforce out of the box might be the one for you. But that being said, I said that I'm quite partial to Salesforce here. But if you have processes that need to be deeply and highly customized, integrations that are not only the ones that are point and click through a configuration, but you need to do an integration with your backend. You need to write an API. You need to do X amount of stuff. You need to connect it with your ERP system, but the connector doesn't work properly. So if you want to expand incredibly into the world of customization, then Salesforce is the tool for you. And then at the top of the pyramid is going to be the user adoption. So is it user friendly what we're doing here? Because from my perspective, to me, and to use a word that Carrie used, sexy. To me, the sexier the implementation is, the better, because it makes my job more interesting, right? But that doesn't necessarily translate that it would be useful or it would be adopted by the users. So I can create very very cool features, something that looks very good to me, to my untrained business eye, let's put it like this, or but to my highly trained technological eye, it will look very, very cool. But if no one uses it, if no one knows that it exists, then it served no purpose. So to me, your processes always dictate the tool that is going to be used, and then the tool should always be user-centric. So it means that it needs to feel like your iPhone. You don't need to know how much RAM it has or what processor does it come with. No, you just need to know that it's light to unlock. Easy as that. So it needs to be built in a way where we have high degree of autonomy, so that we are not reliant on anyone else to use the system, and also high degree of automation. So everything that we should automate, because we want to generate data that we can use for analysis, and we want it to be concise. We want it to be consistent. The more that we can automate, the more consistent the data would get. And then it becomes like a snake that it's biting its own tail, like an Ouroboros. The better data we have, the better system we're going to have. The better system we're going to have, the better data we're going to have. And at the end, your users doesn't even need to know what exactly they're using, because they are clicking some things and a lot of processes are happening in the background. Ideally, you don't even know the process that you're following, because it's made so much easy for you to just follow it that you don't even think about it. If there is even a single point of friction, salespeople, AEs, they're gonna raise hell. Like I've listened to a lot of feedback that it's not user friendly, that I don't know what should happen next, and this is the most important part for me of a successful implementation, is that if the user doesn't have to think about what exactly happens next, that the system is prompting what exactly should happen next. So to me, this pyramid is always the thing that I keep in mind when I'm implementing. It starts with the process, then it informs the system that we're going to use, and then the system should be like idiot proof. Sorry, that's a controversial one probably to say, but it should be idiot proof. It should know, you don't need to know anything about Salesforce in order to use it. And ideally, I want my grandma to be able to log into this and to be able to use it. Just like she can use an iPhone or an iPad, she doesn't need to know anything about what iOS is or what Android is. So this is how I look at my implementation. I hope that it makes some sense.
Yes, definitely. So thanks for the different perspectives. Very, very interesting. Very cool. So let's jump maybe then to the second topic, and I think we also partially already covered it, right? Like how do we optimize actually pipeline efficiency with CRM? And I think it goes kind of hand in hand, like topic one, topic two, right? I think Susanne, you already talked a lot also about like data reports, right? And from my perspective, also pipeline efficiency also comes with transparency, right? Comes with transparency and visibility. Yeah. So what we see is that once you give people the transparency and visibility about like, hey, how does my pipeline actually look like? Yeah. What are the main criteria for my pipeline, right? Like, how much pipeline did I generate? What's my pipeline coverage also, right? That's, I think, something that not so many companies are tracking on really sales rep level, but I think it's a very, very useful metric, right? Where you say like, okay, I don't know, just as an example, you have a conversion rate of 50%, yeah, and you have a goal of closing 100K per month, which means in the next month I need to go with a pipeline of 200K, right, to statistically kind of fulfill my goal. But I don't see many companies where like also the sales reps have this visibility and this setup. Yeah, and I think it's very important, so that you give your people kind of the all the numbers that they need. And I think where the system also should help is actually adding some smaller automations. Yeah. So for example, like a very easy, let's call it recycling automation. Yeah. I think something where you say, for example, hey, you lost now a deal or like a lead, right? And there's an automation that pops this up like in 6 months, 9 months, 10 months from now. So nothing is really getting just like thrown away, yeah, because I think that's also something that often happens, especially when you talk also about pipelines with people, right? Like there is, of course, a skew, yeah, in how they perceive their pipeline, because kind of all the attention goes to like 2 or 3 big volume deals, or where they say like, hey, there's a high probability to close, right? And the rest is kind of a bit blurry, yeah. And I think it's about bringing this, right, bring the visibility, but also supporting the people in not getting anything lost, right? Like lost in a sense of that you're missing you're missing it, right? You're missing to kind of re-engage with someone 6 months later or 10 months later or whatever. And that's what we usually also try to do. This is one of our best practices, to give actually, like on the different levels, give kind of cockpits, right? Like, I know, sales rep logs in, sees all the numbers, and also have all the visibility, have some automations that support him or her in kind of having or being on top of the pipeline, their own top pipeline, and then also having this cockpit, of course, on like team lead or let's say management level, right? Because Susanne, for example, she wants to, of course, look at different metrics, or like summarized metrics, right? Understanding the pipeline health, the forecast, like all of these things. And what we then also saw is, what is incredibly helpful actually for people, is to have what we call counter reports. Yeah. So not only having reports in the sense of like, hey, how much do I have in my pipeline, but having a report that shows you, hey, where is something not going well, right? Where is something not going right, in the sense of you have a set of rules, right? Where you, for example, say like, hey, every deal or opportunity needs to have like an open task that we actually clearly kind of can indicate the next steps. Yeah. And whenever we have an opportunity that has no next step defined, or a close that in the past, for example, something where we say like, hey, this is not maintained very nice, yeah, then it pops up in this counter report, and it pops up in the counter report on the sales rep level, or then also in the team lead or management level, so that it can also actively manage against it. Yeah, because this is then also the hygiene factor that was already also discussed here, right? Which is very, very important, because we also don't want to have like a stuffed pipeline, yeah, where just like there are many deals in there, yeah, but in the end you don't have any visibility or feeling about like, hey, what is this, right? Like, but we want to have like really well qualified pipeline with very clear and Kara, I think that's exactly what you say, right? Like, in a sense of, for your pipeline to be kind of healthful and also efficient, you need to have like a good understanding of your clients. You need to have a good understanding, hey, how's my strategy on that deal, right? Like, what should I do next? What do I need to qualify here and there? And then really indicate that and make it then measurable. Even if the process is kind of different for each of the clients, it should be in some way kind of course, measurable in a sense of where are we standing here, right? I think that's, from my perspective, that's very, very important, and that's something where the CRM system really can help. I don't know, Kara, maybe you want to also say something to that point.
It's funny. As you're talking, I'm thinking about a sales process that I'm currently in, right? So we sell software on behalf of the big software players, HubSpot, Salesforce, 6sense, et cetera, to our clients. So our clients count on us to help them pick the best software. I'm sure very much like you guys. And I have a current customer. They're a $3 billion private equity backed European based company, actually huge, like they're enormous business. And they have told me, we want to buy this software. So this delivery of this message came to me from their ownership. CEO was in the room, everyone's on the same page. And so their message to me was, how fast can we get this done? And so my reaction was, I will get this done tomorrow. Like, you have just told me you have the budget, like you are BANT qualified, you are the leadership team, like you own the business, you would like to buy this software, I will do this tomorrow. The software selling team of the software that I am trying to buy this from has over-engineered their process, and it has now taken us 3 weeks to not buy this software. We are still not buying the software. And I'm getting text messages from the ownership, from the private equity saying, what is going on? Like, why have we not seen buying the software yet? And it's because the software company that we're trying to buy this from has over-engineered the process, and they have created all of these barriers only to check the box inside of their own system. And I can hear it, right? I can hear this rep who's doing exactly what his company asked him to do. He's asking me the BANT question. He's asking me about legal. He's asking me about time to implement. He's asking all the right questions. And I keep telling him, we are now 3 weeks late because of your over-engineered process. Will you please just send me an order form so that we can get this kicked off? And so I think I experience it both sides, right? We experience on our customer side, yes, they need to be qualified. You have to make sure that you understand what's going on. You need to be able to answer all of their objections when it comes up, right? But this is a perfect example of not applying your internal process exactly the same way to every single buyer, right? So I had to send an email. This is a funny story. I had to send an email to this person's boss's boss's boss. I CC'd everyone whose email address that I have I'm sure that I've made a ton of enemies. And the subject of the email, I'm a very aggressive Yankee, right? Was this company deal on a silver platter - you are blocking it. Like, somebody get me an order form. And I think that is an example. I mean, you're asking me the question because you knew I would give you the contrary answer. That's the example, right? Like, we still don't have a closed deal. We are still wrapped up in their Salesforce CRM process inside of their, and so I'm agonizing over trying to get this deal done. And the only reason that it's blocked is because they don't have an they don't have an 80-20 rule, right? There's no lever that this poor sales rep, who I'm sure would love to just close this deal by the end of the year, there's no ripcord he can pull and say, hey, this one is special. This is in our lap. Like, let's not lose this deal, right? And let's make this customer happy. So I think it goes back to my point earlier of, if they are applying their process to what our combined customer needs, and instead of listening to the customer and saying, yes, of course we can give you an order form today, 3 weeks earlier than we really should be. Yes, of course we can make this easy for you. They're making it really, really, really hard for this customer to buy. And then one last comment, as we're going into this implementation, there's an opportunity for this software company to potentially get revenue from the implementation, but they've fumbled the ball so badly on closing this deal that our combined customer now is like, no. I don't this has been a disaster. We can't get what we need from them. They're too slow. They're too big. They have too many boxes to check. You, Kara, you and your team just take the implementation, right? You're willing to sort of go outside the boundaries and get this done. And so I think my answer to your question is you have to have the exception management rules. You cannot apply the exact same pipeline and opportunity cost and all lead scoring to every single deal. You have to build in a ripcord for when things are just so perfect that they show up in your lap, and you got to be ready for them. And a lot of times people aren't.
What you say, Kara, I absolutely agree, but it also depends on the skill set of the seller. I mean, we often see that they want to go down the easiest path. They are not asking the question they need to be asked. They have happy ears, and then at the end, the deal is not converting. We are not selling because we lost something on the way. So for sure, I push. Have you done this? Have you asked this question? Have you did you went through the checklist? But on the other hand, I would also assume, okay, when a deal is dead ready, move on and get it done, and not start from the first step, move it into the last step, sign the contract, and be ready. But I would say it requires a certain experience and skill set on the seller side to decide, okay, what do I do with the deal? Is everything ready? Is it that perfect? Is it on the silver plate? Okay, go sign it, done. Then I'm not asking. I'm caring regarding the conversion rates. And we often see, okay, we haven't fully qualified it, then we can't build a proper business case. And so therefore I'm very pushy or insist, okay, don't go down the easiest route or the easy way. So these deals are never converting, but it shouldn't end in a scenario like you describe.
I wonder though if that's really a sales training problem, not a CRM or a customer journey problem, right? If you have a really strong sales training program and you know, whatever your qualifications are, we like BANT because it's easy. You know, how do you prove that early on? And I wonder if it's actually a sales issue more than it is a process issue, right?
I think it's so. I can quite relate to what you're saying, because we are also included in many sales processes, of course, and I think it's more like maybe a sales org problem, right? Like there is like maybe just like a too big of a organization behind it that, as you say, like need this, okay, this box need to be ticked, otherwise we're not doing it, right? So very strict rules, and then you have, of course, managers of managers, right, that need to sit in forecast meetings, yeah. And I think that's most probably the problem, because I mean, as you say, I think it's a great example how they could actually optimize their pipeline efficiency, right, in being like, let's say, a bit more agile, and understanding, okay, here's a client, they're ready, but we're pushing them back in the funnel, so to say. So I think it's a very, very good comment. Yeah, very interesting. Yeah. Cool. Yeah. Susanne, you also yes, you also wanted to say something to the point before, but I think we are running out of time. That's why we need to go to the next slide here, our topic, and that's driving retention revenue growth. And I think that's something, Susanne, where you already said that you also implemented the bow tie model, right? And I mean, for many businesses nowadays, the actual customer lifetime value or the main revenue comes after the first signature, right? So I think like staying close to the client, right, have a like very good relationship also, and building up the relationship, and also have implications kind of to the product development maybe, yeah, is key today. And I would love to understand how you guys do that, especially also like in the enterprise business, right? Maybe you can give us some insights there.
Yeah, I mean, for us, the bow tie model is a good template to focus on question: how can we expand the customer? How can we approach cross and upsell possibilities? How can we prevent churn? And I mean, there our business model is different towards a pure SaaS model. So when you sign up as a software buyer, you're locked in for a certain time. So you have the subscription running for 12 months. In our case, the companies say, okay, I'm expecting you get rentals over the next 12 months for 200K, 100K, 500K, whatever. But it's not a hard lock-in. So we still need to fight for every project. We still need to fight for every rental. So therefore, it's crucial that on the expansion phase, when the deal is, so to say, closed, we still ensure, okay, there are a lot of touch points with the customer. We know what projects are coming up. We know exactly what are their needs, their requirements. We know exactly what are the people we need to speak to. So for us, the expansion phase in the bow tie model is not the typical customer success piece where everything is done and dusted and money is flowing. So we still need to fight that the rentals are coming in, and there we still have a lot to do to really build out the right standards for the different customer segments we have. We are also serving different industries, and we are right now working on a COM excellence model to really come up with an answer. What are the right activities? What is the right activity mix? What are the right touch points? To really ensure the customers are happy. We see the revenue prediction coming in. They did a couple of months ago, and we also can reduce the churn rate. So we are churning customers after a couple of months being inactive. That's definitely something we want to avoid. So it's a hard effort to bring a new customer on board. So there in the expansion phase, we absolutely need to ensure, okay, rentals are coming in, customer is happy. We know what is happening on the customer side, and right now it's also a pure sales approach, and we definitely can get more sophisticated with some marketing efforts, nurture streams, and so on, so that it's not just a pure sales focus sales approach we are running here on the expansion phase.
Okay, cool. And how do you currently leverage your CRM system to support you there in this phase? And what are maybe kind of also your vision, right? What do you want to maybe implement also in the next 12 months or so?
I mean, they're working also on their own pipeline. We have a stage for new onboarded customers where we want to ensure within the first couple of weeks the key account manager is meeting the customer. Further qualification is happening. The happy customers that are productive in a specific phase, we're also trying to ensure, okay, there are certain activities happening, but we are also flagging customers that are in risk of churn. So we definitely then running some different activities. Also our founders are jumping in, or I'm jumping in to speak with those customers to prevent churn. We're thinking of implementing a health core that helps us. So we have a lot of dashboards, a lot of numbers, but maybe one centralized health core indicating, okay, the customer is fine, revenue is coming in, we are on top of this customer, number of activities is fine, where we really see with a quick glimpse which customer is working, which customer is not working. So that would be absolutely helpful, and for sure more marketing automation pieces. So when for 2 or 3 weeks we haven't seen any rental from this company, quick reminder, maybe send out a voucher. So that we are really on top of mind of those customers, and they are not that we are not risking they forgetting us when the COM is not calling the customers. So for sure we can bake in some nice marketing touch points.
Okay, cool. Thanks. Very insightful. Yeah, so maybe Evgeni, I skipped you now, in the last topic. So maybe you can, before we give the mic also to Kara, maybe you can kind of give a few examples from your side, or kind of what you saw in implementation.
Absolutely. I think that this is one of the easiest way to utilize a good functioning process inside of Salesforce or any other CRM is to use your data that it's already being generated. So it comes for free to you, right? So you're already used your lead qualification, your prospect nurturing, your opportunity stages, and it's already a functioning client. So you have this data already in your system. So you might as well use it. You might as well use it in order to inform what is going on now with the client. And you don't need to know anything more, or you don't need to have like some high context awareness, or that you understand the client that well. No, everything is already there. You just need to look very thoroughly and analyze the data, what exactly happened, how long did X client stay in X in Y stage, what was the last time that an activity happened, what was the last thing that the client did, if we are capturing this inside of Salesforce, let's say through our backend. And we use all of this information. We analyze this data, and by we, I speak as Kremanski, right? Like when someone comes to us and they want to prevent churn, or they want to upsell or cross-sell, we would analyze this data, we would look at it, and we would identify, okay, what is the next best action that we can do and automate it, right? So it has to be, you don't need to think about it. You don't need to look at a dashboard. You don't need to, ideally, you don't even need to know if this client is close to churn or not. Like, the system will do the thinking for you. The system will do the heavy lifting for you. This is why you're paying premium money for a CRM license. This is why you have already paid for consultants like us to do the job for you. So we would do the thinking, we would implement a solution that would automate it, and then, as I said before, it's kind of like the snake biting its tail. The more that this thing generates the next best action, the more you would know from the analytics that you would run in the second phase if this approach is working. Maybe you can try A/B approaches here for churn prevention, A/B testing. There is a lot that you can do, but my main takeaway would be you already have this data. If your processes are set up beforehand properly, there is nothing more than that you need to do. You already have this data. You might as well leverage it. You might as well use it for finding out what should happen next. It's already there. It's unlocked. It's just the low-hanging fruit that needs a little bit of love to implement prior hand, but then it's the gift that keeps on giving, more or less.
Cool. Thanks, Evgeni. Kara, yeah, I would love to hear your thoughts also on this, of course. Like, also coming from a professional services background, I know that for you it's the same. Yeah, you don't have like this SaaS model, and yeah, would just love to understand your thoughts on this.
So I agree with everything that's been said. I think one of the things, I keep talking about this because I'm just so excited about it, is intent data. So our ability to use the intent data tools on top of the CRM and see churn signals early from current customers is one of the best ways to use those tools. So you load up your current customer list, and then you load up in the keywords your competitors or competitive keywords, and we can see anyone. Usually it's after you've had some sort of service failure or something's happening, and we can go in and see real quickly that folks are looking for someone else, or they're going to try to solve their problem with a different vendor. That's been the most successful way that we can use, that we can do cross-sell and upsell opportunities and retention opportunities inside of the CRM. So yeah, I love the idea that Evgeni said about, like, you already own the data, you don't have to buy it, like, it's yours, just use what you already have. And we love that approach. So we do that all the time. And then we add the paid approach on top of it. So yeah, super, like, this is one place I do agree, y'all. It's great.
Nice. Yeah, but I mean, even the points where I didn't agree, right? Like, super interesting discussion, and I think that's very fruitful also. So I think we are also over the time. Yeah, that's why we also have like a bit of buffer here. But yeah, from my side, thank you very much for your time. It was a very interesting discussion, definitely, with very interesting points, yeah, and points of view. So Kara, thanks for that also, yeah, for your views there. It's very, very nice. Yeah, and thank you from my side.
Thank you all.
Thanks, everybody. It was lovely to speak with you today. Have a nice one.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Take care.